Hey everybody, Dr. Jonny Bowden here today. Today I'm going to answer the question, what is MCT oil? Something we hear about all the time, a lot of confusion about it, so let's get into it. So all fatty acids, and fat is just made of individual components called fatty acids. All fatty acids in the entire world ever invented are chains of carbon. So there's certain number of carbons in the chain, and these fatty acids are identified by the number of carbons in the chain. So they range from about 2 carbons to 22 carbons commonly. And so the ones that are like at the low end of the spectrum, they only have 2 or 4 or maybe 6 carbons. Those are called short chain fatty acids because there's only a few of the carbons. And the ones at the long chain over here, that are 18 and 20 and 22 carbons, those are called long chain carbon fatty acids, because if you laid them all out, there'd be a long chain of carbons. And if you laid all the ones on the short end out, there'd be a short chain. Well, in between the short and the long are what are called medium chain fatty acids, or medium chain triglycerides, MCT. And those are fatty acids that have carbon lengths of 6, 8, 10, or 12. That's it. Those are 4 fatty acids, and they each have names. Caprylic acid, doesn't matter what they are. They're all different names. Most of them begin with C, but they're carbon 6, carbon 8, 10 carbons, or 12 carbons. And those are called medium chain triglycerides. Now, why are they important? Well, they burn a little differently than other fatty acids. And bodybuilders, back in the day when I was a trainer at Equinox and when I was first starting my career in the 90s and even before that in the late 80s, bodybuilders loved MCT oil. Tell you why. Because right before a contest, a bodybuilder wants to be as sharp and as cut as possible without being flat, and they need the calories to keep pumping up the muscles, but they don't want the calories to put fat on their body because that kind of destroys the whole purpose of the bodybuilding competition. So that contest prep week, they need somehow a source of energy, but they don't want any fat storage. And MCT oil filled the bill because MCTs are not preferentially stored by the body as fat. They're preferentially used for energy. So they actually kind of function almost like a carbohydrate. They're almost like a ready available source of energy that the body doesn't like to store. So MCT oils were all the rage with that. MCT oil is also very useful and this is probably not of a lot of use to you out there in YouTube land, but it's a very frequent fat that's used in childhood epilepsy programs that depend upon the ketogenic diet. So to get a kid into ketosis, there's a lot of choices of fat you could use. They tend to use MCT oils because it's a very good oil, very healthy oil. Now, it gets a little bit confusing because scientists and researchers argue about the lower end and the higher end of the medium chain. So some people say, oh, the 6s shouldn't be included because they're more like, short chain, and the 12 shouldn't be included. They're more like long chain. That's not a discussion we're going to have right now. All I want you to know is that you've got these 4 fatty acids, C6, C8, C10, and C12. They're often sold as a product. They're a readily available energetic source and tend to not be stored as fat and therefore provide wonderful energetic calories. That's why a lot of people use MCT oil in their morning coffee, in a bulletproof type coffee. And there are variations on MCT oil. For example, this is a product that I got that Perfect Keto sent me. They call it pure MCT oil, but they believe that the C8 and the C10 fatty acids are the real gold in MCT oil. They don't care that much about C12 and C6. So their MCT oil is nothing but C8 and C10. It's a very interesting way to approach MCT oil. My friend Dave Asprey over at Bulletproof, he has a oil that he calls brain octane oil, and that's just 1 MCT. That is just nothing but C8, because he believes C8 gives you the best of all possible worlds. It's great brain food, it converts to ketones easily, and it's burned for energy and doesn't get stored as fat. So he likes C8. His entire MCT oil, or at least his brain octane oil, is just C8. I think he may also have an MCT oil that's a more varied group of MCTs. Some of them just put C8 and C10 into a formula. So that's what MCT oils are. It's a great source of fat. You don't want to cook with it. You don't want to heat it. You can, however, put it in coffee or tea, and you can add it to shakes, and you can even take it by the spoonful, and it's a great source of calories, especially when you're trying to lose weight and maintain your energy. And that's what MCT oil is. I'm going to do another video explaining the difference between MCT oil and coconut oil. There's a huge difference. People don't understand that. I routinely hear health experts talk about them like they're the same thing. They're not. I'll get into that in my other video. But for now, I've just told you what MCT oil is. I hope that's useful to you. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and send me your questions. I'd love to answer them. This is Dr. Jonny Bowden. I will see you next time.